This is the EdTech instructional video on how to use Google Drive. The first thing you're going to do is sign into your Google account. So make sure that you are using your APS credentials and that you are using the Chrome browser and that you are signed in with those same credentials. If you need more assistance on how to sign into your Google account, please check out our Educational Technology YouTube channel, and there is a video on there about how to use Chrome and to sign into a Chrome account. Once you're signed into your Google account, you're going to want to go to the Apps Launcher. So this is your Google Apps Launcher, and we are going to be looking at Drive today. This is one way that you can get into your Google Drive account. Google has many various different ways that allow you to get inside your account. Going through the Google Apps Launcher was one way. Another way is to go here to this tab, and in your tab, you're going to want to put in drive.google.com, and that will take you to your Drive as well. Now that we're in our Drive, let's talk a little bit about what a Google Drive is. Google Drive is your cloud-based storage. This is where all of the files that you are going to create are going to be stored that you use from the Google Apps Launcher. With a Google account that is an educational account, you're going to see here how much storage you've used. You don't really need to worry about that too much because it is essentially unlimited storage for an educational account. Here on the left, we're going to be looking at some of these different drives. And then here in the middle is where all of our files and folders are going to be. We're going to go over here and start with this New button. So the very top left corner there is New. And this is going to allow us to make either a new folder, upload a file, we can upload an entire folder, or we can create new materials right from this space. If you're familiar with Microsoft tools, you're going to notice that these items are very, very similar to those. So Google Docs is similar to Word, Sheets is similar to Excel, Slides is similar to PowerPoint. I also have more different apps that I can use to create different items in my Google Drive. If you notice next to one of these that there is an arrow, if I hover over that arrow, I'm able to create either a blank brand new item or I can create one from a template. Google has a lot of different templates available for most of their different tools. If you choose the option of a template, you're going to be taken to the template gallery, which is going to allow you to choose any of these templates to create a brand new file. Once you select one of those files, it's going to open this file in a brand new tab. Google will open all of the files and function right inside of the web browser using a variety of different tabs. Inside any of these spaces for any Google file, you're going to notice different Google tools. And for the purpose of Drive, we're going to be looking up here in this top left corner. If you're not sure what something is, you can hover over it and you will see those little speech bubbles pop out to tell you what they are. Up here in the top left is where you can name a file. Once I've named a file and I either click enter or I click off, I'm going to notice that there is an icon here that looks like a folder. If I click on this folder, I can see where this file is located and I'm able to select anywhere I would like to move it to. If I close this tab, I'm going to be taken back to my Drive, which is over here. And I'm going to notice that now I have this file in my Drive. The main personal drive that is in your Google Drive is right here. And this is called your My Drive. Anytime you create a new file, you copy a file, it will be automatically put into My Drive. The Google Drive files can be kept in a folder. To make a new folder, go to the same New button and select Folder. When you create a folder, you're going to want to name a folder and then select Create. You can view all of your folders and files inside your Drive in two different ways. The first way is in Grid View, which is how it is right now, and the other way is using this icon right here. I can click on it and this will put all of my files into List View. I'm going to go back to Grid View. Files can be moved inside folders. I'm going to click and hold, and then I can move that file into the folder. I can also move folders or create folders inside other folders. Here on the left, I see that my file is inside my drive. If I want to see all of the folders and files that are inside my drive here on this left navigation bar, I can click on this caret arrow icon, and it will create a drop down of all of my different folders right here on the left. I'm going to click back on my drive, and that will take me here to the main drive page. You can customize folders by changing the color or adding an emoji icon to the name. To do that, I'm going to right-click on a folder. When you right-click, it's going to open a brand new menu. To recolor a folder or change the color, click here on Change Color, and you will be able to select any of these options. To add an emoji to the folder name, right-click on the folder and rename it. When the name comes up here, you can right-click and add an emoji or a symbol for that folder. Then click OK, and the image will be here on that folder. So let's click inside this folder, and we're going to go back to that original file. On this file, I'm able to right-click when it's in my drive, and I have a lot of different options here. One of those options is to share this file or get a shareable link. With all different types of Google tools, you're able to share a file with someone else. When I click on share, I'm going to get this share screen, and I'm able to type in who I want to share this file with right here. I'm going to go ahead and share it with someone from our department already. Here on the right, you are able to determine what that person can do inside this file. If you make the person an editor, that person will be able to make changes, edits, delete, and also share this file. If you want that person to just be a commenter, the person will only be able to add comments to that file. And if you want this file to be view only, you can make them a viewer. Down here, I'm able to determine if I want to send an email to let this person know that I am sharing a file with them. And here is where I can type in a message. Then I'm going to select send. Now I'm going to go up here to this gear icon. On this gear icon, you can toggle off these options. Editors can change permissions and share. If I don't want my editor to be able to share this file with somebody else, I will turn that off. And this will allow you to determine if viewers and commenters are able to download, print, or copy that file. It is set as a default where they are allowed to download, print, and make their own copies. If not, you can toggle this off. I'm going to leave them both on, and I'm going to go back to this screen. And once I've decided that I have all of my settings configured the way I wanted them, I'm going to select send. After I've shared this file, it will go to the recipient's shared with me drive. On the left, everybody who has a Google account has a shared with me drive. When I click on the shared with me drive, I will be able to see all of the files that someone has shared with me, either through the file itself or through their My Drive. Inside my shared with me drive, I can see all of the items by shared date. You cannot create folders here within the shared with me space. If I go up here and switch to list view, I'll be able to see who shared the file with me, as well as to see the share date. I'm going to switch back to grid view. With files that are shared with me, they had been configured either for you to be a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. If I open one of these files, I can now determine what type of access I have to this file. If I'm not able to type on top of the file or edit it, then I am a view-only recipient. Up here in the top, you can either request edit access, where you can both have access to edit the same document, Or if you would like to have your own version of the document or file, as long as the person who shared it with you had allowed you to make your own copy, go here to File, and then you can make a copy. When you make a copy, you're going to make a copy of the file that belongs to you that you will be able to edit. I'm going to copy this file, and then I can choose which folder inside my drive I would like this file to go to. I can select my drive and pick any of those folders. Now you will see that I have the same exact file, but it says copy in front of the file name. I'm now able to type inside on top of the file itself. And if I go over back to my drive and inside that demo folder, I now see I have a copy of that document. If I go back here to list view, I will also notice that the original owner of the document has now transferred over to me. Realize that when you make your own copy to the file, if the original owner makes any changes to the original document, you will not see or be able to have any of those changes, because once you make a copy, it will be a brand new copy that now belongs to you that is editable. If I want to take one of those similar documents and I right-clicked on it, I also have the option to add a shortcut to my drive. When I add a shortcut of the file to my drive, you're going to open up a new window to choose which folder to put that file in, and you're going to select Add Shortcut. And now when I go over to my drive again, and inside that folder, I'm going to notice that this copy here does not have the word copy in front of it, like the one we made previously. I will also notice that the icon here, the Google Docs icon, has an arrow that points up towards the file itself. This is to show me that this is a shortcut of that file. What a shortcut does is this will not belong to you. So if I go back here to list view, it still has the original owner of this file on the shortcut. It means that you are just creating a link back to that original file. This can be very helpful if you have someone who is constantly editing a file or constantly updating a file that you need to have those updates, but you're not the one in charge of it. It would be great to add a shortcut to your Google Drive so you can move that file into different folders or spaces for you to be able to find it easier, but you will not become the owner of that document. And when I'm inside this document, it's going to have the same share permissions as before. It's going to be view only, where I'd have to request any type of edit access. So we're back here on our file. And previously, when I right-clicked on a file, I was able to share the document or the file with another person. Let's say you want to share this file with multiple people and you don't want to have to plug into everybody, or it may be potentially where you want to share this with people you don't even know. This is where you will want to get a shareable link. When I click on a shareable link, it's going to create a link right here that I can share with other people. Here are the different permissions that you have to change when you are sharing a link. You can either share with anyone outside of your organization. You can share with someone who is inside your organization, and anybody outside who tries to get in will not be able to do that. Or you can keep it restricted where it's going to be private only to your account. I'm going to go ahead and change this with anyone with the link. And once I do that, I have the option here on the right to change once again if I want this person to be an editor, a commenter, or a viewer. I'm going to go ahead and make them an editor. So that means anybody that I shared the link with, this particular long link, that person will be able to get into that file and edit it. Once I copy that link, I can select Done. And now I'm going to go over to another account, and we're going to go here and open that link. And you're going to notice that that file opens right up. And I'm going to be able to edit inside this entire file in real time with the other person. Now that we've looked at share permissions and sharing a file, let's go back here and look at a folder. So I'm going to go back to my drive and I'm going to see all of my folders here. Similar to selecting a file, if you right click on a folder, you're going to open those similar options here on this menu, where you're going to be able to share the entire folder and all of the contents. You can get a shareable link. You can add a shortcut to your drive. You can move the entire folder and all contents. You can also change the file color, and you can search within a particular folder. Now, this is important that if you want to change the share permissions of an entire folder, you're going to want to go here to get a shareable link. And when you change these permissions here to either anyone outside the organization or inside the organization, and if they can edit or view those files, that means all files that are inside that folder, whoever you share this with will be able to do that. So if I change this folder to share it anyone in Albuquerque Public Schools can edit, that means anyone who has this link or gets into that folder will be able to edit all of the files that are inside the folders. When I select done, I'm going to notice that my folder icon now has a little outline of a person here on the folder to know that this folder has been shared. In my Google Drive, I also have some options here on the bottom. I can go here to recent, and this will pull up the most recent files that I have used in my drive, and they will all be organized by the time that I had accessed them. I can go to my starred drive, which will be any files that I have added to the star drive that I feel are important or that I want quick access to. You can start a folder or a file itself. I'm going to go back to the file that we had been on previously, and here you will see that there's a star. If I click on the star here, and I go back to my star drive, and I scroll through the files, I will see that it is right here in my star drive files. If I go back to my drive, to one of those files that we had, if you do not want to keep a file in your drive, you can right-click on that file and choose to remove it, or for any files inside your drive, you can click and hold it and then move it over to the appropriate drive here on the left. So I'm going to send this one over to the trash. And if I go to that trash drive right here, I will see any files that have been deleted from my drive. If I right-click on that file inside the trash, I have two different options. I can either restore this file back to its original location, or I can delete this file forever. Know that any files that you put in your trash in your Google Drive will automatically be emptied after 30 days. Up here in the corner, I also have the ability to empty the entire trash if I would like. As a Google Education account, we have unlimited storage in our drive, but if you want to go to the storage icon here, you can see the items that have taken up the most room inside your drive. So now we've learned about my drive, all of the bottom drives here, and now we're going to move up to the very, very top to the priority drive. A priority drive allows you to create workspaces. Workspaces allow you to keep different files all together that may be from different locations or different places inside either your drive or in a shared with me or shared drive that you can put into different headings and categories for easy access. To create a brand new workspace, go here to Workspace and go to Create. You'll be able to title your workspace and then hit Create. And a window will pop up that will allow you to add files to your workspace. Google will help determine some files they believe you would like to add to that workspace, which you can either choose to add this file or to add some more files. So I'm going to add that document. And once it is here, I can add even more files. So I can go up here to add files. And on the right, it's going to open up 3 different places that I can pull files from. So I'm going to go to my drive. So I'm going to take these files and add them over to my workspace. You can click on one file at a time or do Shift and select all files at the same time and select Insert. I have 5 files that have been added to my workspace and I select Done. Now I will be able to click on the Digital Citizenship File workspace and I will have access quickly to any of these files and remove them from my workspace if I no longer want to have access in the specific place. In your Google Drive, you can upload other types of files that aren't necessarily Google files and they can be stored in your drive. These include Microsoft files, PDFs, other text-based files, music, videos, or compressed files. I can go over to the New button and select File Upload, and then choose which folder I want to pull that file from, and I'll select it and choose Open. When I open that file, you're going to notice here on the bottom that it is uploading, and then it will show up in my drive. If this is a Word document, you're going to notice that it has a Word logo on it. And if I try and open it, I'm still able to use most of those file settings that I would if it was a Google Doc. However, I'm going to choose up here what I'm going to open this document with. I can open this with Google Docs. It does pretty good trying to keep most of the same types of formatting. If I open this as a Google Doc, I'm able to actually edit and make changes in this file just like I would a Google Doc file. The only way that I know that this is a different type of file is I see this blue banner up here that tells me that it is a Microsoft Word format document. If I want to save this as a Google Doc as opposed to a Microsoft Word document, I can go here to File, and I can save this as a Google Doc, and that will convert it over into my drive. This will make this document easier to share and will also allow me to have some other tools that are missing if I am editing a Microsoft Word file. Going back to my drive, there are some overall settings that I can configure where all of my documents will automatically be converted when they are uploaded, and some other different settings to look at. I'm going to select the gear icon here and go to Settings. And that's going to open up all of my Google Drive settings. I have storage here, and on the converting uploads, this is that box I want to check off if I want the uploaded files to convert automatically over to the Google Docs versions of the files. That means if I upload Microsoft Word, it will automatically convert over to Google Docs. Same thing for a Microsoft Excel will convert to a Google Sheet, and a PowerPoint will automatically convert to a Google Slides. So if I select this, anytime I upload those types of files, they will automatically convert. I can change the language in my drive, and here is where I can toggle off or on offline access. Density will determine how close all of the different files are by their size. Compact is the smallest, comfortable is the largest, and cozy somewhere in the middle. Down in this option, you're going to see a different heading on top of your Google Drive that is going to offer some suggestions for you. You can choose to have all of these different options on where Google Drive will make relevant files handy for quick access. It will pull out files that they believe are important at that time or shared with me files. And here it will make priority the default homepage. If I do this and go back to my drive, you're going to notice now that I have a banner up here on top of my drive. And so I have the option to have quick access files that are pulled by the artificial intelligence of Google to pull them into that space, assuming those are the files that you're most likely are going to want to access quickly. If you do not want those files to be up in the quick access, you can go back to settings and go ahead and toggle those options off. One option that I like about Google Drive is the search option. If I go up here to search, I can put in a keyword and it will pull up some options here, or I can just select enter and it will search all of Google Drive for anything with that keyword. If you've searched a keyword that has a large amount of options here and you're still trying to find that file, I can go to this drop-down search option menu and I can filter down those searches even more specifically. I can search the type of file that I'm looking for. So if I know this is a document, I can choose who the owner is. It's either owned by me, not owned by me, or you can tie it to a specific person who may have shared that file with you. You can choose a location, which means that you can search for a particular folder inside your drive. You can choose the last time that this item had been modified. You can type in the title or part of the title or file name. Keywords, which we were already looking for. You can search if you had shared it with anyone or if there had been any suggestions or action items on that file. Once I have narrowed down some criteria, I can select search, and the search will narrow down some of those options. All of the different Google items do not need to be saved to this drive. So you don't need to go file, save as, or anything. Everything will automatically save. The last type of drive that we're going to look at here on the side is a shared drive. Shared drives will have to be created by our EdTech department. You can request a shared drive, or you may already have been enrolled in a shared drive as a member. When you are a shared drive, this is actually set up a little bit differently than how a regular drive would be set up. In a shared drive, instead of having the files shared out with individual share permissions, the drive itself has specific shared permissions, and members are added to those different drives so they will be able to perform those shared permissions. So if I go over to this shared drive, I see that there's 3 files. In every shared drive, you will have someone who is the administrator of that drive who will be able to manage the members of that drive. When I select on Manage Members, whenever you go up here and you type in and add a member to this drive, you can set the different levels of access for each member. I have been set up in this drive as a manager. A manager can manage content, people, and all settings of a drive. That person needs to be the one in charge of doing all of the adding and removing members for that particular drive. A content manager is able to add, edit, move, or delete files from within that shared drive. Contributor can only add and edit files. They cannot move or delete them. Commenter means that anyone that is added as a commenter will not be able to do anything with that file other than comment on it. And viewer is the lowest amount of access, where everyone who has been added as a viewer to that drive will only have access to view all of the files inside that drive. Remember that in shared drives, you will have different members added to the different drives. Everyone who is invited to a shared drive has access to everything that is within the space, which basically means that anything that you have put into a shared drive, there will be access for all members. Try to keep your shared drives organized. Organize folders by categories, or try to keep consistent naming conventions so everyone in the drive can find a file. Naming conventions can also be very handy for a personal drive. I'm back here in my personal drive, and you can see that I have color-coded different files to represent different subjects. I have numbers, so that way they are in a specific order for my liking. And I've added emojis to those folders so they're easier to find. If I go over here to list view, you can see them a little bit more clearly. Be aware that in a shared drive, you cannot change the color of a folder, but you can add emojis to a title.